What Rusty's.
Great catch. As long as they're back room, Crowder.
Yes. That's good. The other one was. They're real upset.
Got everybody back? If we could, we'd like to get started here again in just a couple of minutes.
Like mine down? Yeah.
If we could, we'd like to call the meeting back to order. All right, let's move on to item number 9. This is resolutions. Item A, Resolution 2012-011, a resolution expressing Anderson County's consent to judicial abandonment and closure of an unnamed road designated C11-29C and matters related thereto. Mr. Hopkins.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This little road is it's just kind of a spur off of Dobbins Bridge Road, just below Public Well, down in that area. The picture kind of tells it all. It's just a little side road there.
Yeah.
The folks there have had some concerns with people that don't need to be there driving through or coming through that area. And all the property owners there have requested that the county abandon it. I think everything you might need is in your report there, but I'll be happy to answer any other questions if you have it.
Are there any homes on that?
Yes, sir, there's several.
Okay, I see the picture now. All right.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I make the motion we adopt this. This is all, them homes there, all of them's family, and they, one requested this to be done.
All right, I'll second that. Any discussion? No? All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Let the record show the vote is unanimous. All right, moving on to item 9B. This is Resolution 2012-017. Get some lights back on. I'm either going to need stronger glasses or a magnifying glass or bigger lights, one of the two up here. All right, Resolution 2012-017, a resolution approving and authorizing the execution and delivery of an inducement and millage rate agreement by and between Anderson County, South Carolina, Project Shelby GT350, New Real Estate Hold Company, and Project Shelby GT350, the company, whereby, under certain conditions, the county will enter into a fee agreement with the company and an infrastructure credit agreement with the affiliate with respect to certain property and covenant in such fee agreement and infrastructure credit agreement to and under certain conditions. A, accept certain fees in lieu of ad valorem taxes with respect to such property. B, agree to keep the property in a multi-county industrial park. And C, agree to provide special source credits. Mr. Nelson again?
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, members of council, this is merely the resolution that brings forth all of the things that we've already covered for Shelby GT 350 with the ordinances and the infrastructure agreement and the fee agreement.
And the resolution puts it into effect immediately. Which,
right.
Okay. I'll make a motion to move on this. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Moore. Any discussion? If not, all those in... Yes, ma'am.
Quick on the draw.
Well, this is just a resolution for what we already...
Yeah, I know that. I know, but I was just asking one question. Agree to provide special source credits. But Mr.
Tommy.
Tommy tried to explain that to me, so we just hold off on that. Okay.
Okay. Any other discussion or questions? All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Let the record show the vote is unanimous.
Mr. Chairman, could I have a point of privilege?
Yes, sir.
I would like to first apologize to Ms. Floyd, but second, she has always been very supportive of economic development, has worked with us on many projects, and I certainly appreciate her, and she has every right to ask a question about anything that we bring before council, and I apologize to her and the balance of council. I'll be happy to meet with you anytime or any members of council and go through all of these things. Thank you, sir.
I think you're going to have a long meeting on your hands tomorrow.
Thank you, Mr. Bird. That was mighty sweet of you. But it won't be until after my children leave over the weekend, okay? We'll get together.
That'll be good.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to item 9C, Resolution 2012-018, a resolution to approve certain mutual aid agreements and/or other interjurisdictional agreements entered into by Anderson County Sheriff's Office and other matters relating thereto. Mr. Burns.
I'll take this one real quick, Mr. Chairman. This is the standard resolution approving mutual aid agreements between the sheriff and, in this case, Greenville County and the city of Greenville. They now require council approval.
All right. All right, I'll put this in the form of a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Crowder. All right, any discussion? All right, seeing none, all those in favor signify by raising your right hand. The record show the vote is unanimous. Moving on to 9D, Resolution 2012-019, a resolution expressing Anderson County's approval of an amendment to the Memorandum of Understanding with Tri-County Technical College for the establishment of a Quick Jobs Development Center and matters related thereto. Mr. Pitts?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, as you'll recall, council at a previous meeting approved the MOU between the county and Tri-County Tech for the Quick Jobs Center. Since there's some grant money involved, the Department of Commerce came back and asked that some additional standard language pertaining to the grants be made part of the MOU, and this resolution just approves an amendment that incorporates those boilerplate provisions.
All right, thank you. Someone put that in the form of a motion? Mr. Moore has moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Dunn. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the resolution signify by raising your right hand. Let the record show the vote is unanimous. All right, moving on to item 10, acceptance of Brookstone Meadows, Phase 3, final, this is Tully Drive, into the county road maintenance system. Mr. Hopkins, or who would like to take this one?
This road's been checked out by our staff. Everything's in order. We recommend that you accept it in.
All right. I'll put that in the form of a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Dunn. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by raising your right hand. To record show the vote is unanimous. All right, moving on to item number 11, report from the Finance Committee. Mr. Crowder, and
Thank you, Chairman.
go ahead, sir.
All right, the first item under A, capital and grants, is the South Carolina Parks, Recreation, and Tourism Assistance Program, where they are applying for actually $6,000 worth of tourism assistance grant monies that would be matched by $12,000 worth of donation and corporate sponsorship money. The Finance Committee reviewed this. It's to support Tour de la France and bring tourism into the county. So Finance Committee recommends this. Please, sir.
All right, thank you, sir. No second is required as it comes from committee. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by raising your right hand. The record show the vote is unanimous.
The second item, Chairman, is to be able to purchase for the forensic lab. I think the name of the device was a Fourier Transform infrared spectrophotometer, so that they could do high levels of testing than they currently have. Grant in the amount of $46,000. It would require general fund money beginning in the next year for $4,800 and continuing for the next several years in order to be able to operate and keep this thing maintained. So the Finance Committee recommends approval of this device.
All right, that's in the form of a motion. No second is needed. Is there any discussion?
Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, have we discussed this once before?
I don't recall.
Okay, I'm getting it mixed
Forensic
up
lab.
with something that I think Ms. Davis was telling us about that was needed. It was a machine in the financial office or somebody's office over there on River Street. Is this the same piece of material? Okay, all right. Do we have this type of material already here in Anderson County that's operable?
Yeah, it's my understanding, we have an older piece of equipment. We don't have the newest technology that can handle the quantity and quality of work that they need to do in drug testing.
Okay.
my understanding. Maybe if the sheriff, if you'd like to, would you like the sheriff to answer that?
This is it was an opportunity from the state, because they had some funds to do this, is actually to expand our lab. The machine we have that's similar to this does certain testing. And by having this machine, it will outlive the previous machine, but it also, we can run both machines now simultaneously, so both of our chemists could do more testing. We're at this point doing testing for us in Oconee, as the grant called for early on, and then we also do some for the upstate. So we're kind of behind on getting ready for our court cases. So this is going to allow us to do additional testing, and this machine will outlast the other one.
Okay, I'm sorry, Sheriff Skipper, I'll be asking you this a lot.
Okay.
And I just please ask you to indulge me, okay? Is this piece of equipment going into the Duke EOC?
It is not.
It's not. This piece of equipment is needed in your facilities that you are currently working
It's in our
for forensics.
forensics lab, which is in the Stone Building next to the jail.
Okay, I thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Let the record show the vote is unanimous.
Mr. Chairman, the third item is to be able to, the cops hiring, this is grant funds are being made available from sources that would allow the employment of 12 officers that would work in the sheriff's office, and these would be returning military veterans, our heroes, and the funding would be in the amount of $527,316. And if you look at your packet on 11A, one of 38 pages, it is we provided the whole application there. You'll notice that it does require matching funds. The first year it requires $27,316. The second year, $177,316. Third year, $190,855. The fourth year, you have to fund it all, and there is and it does show continuing years in the event you wanted to continue this particular program. The grant does require that not only do we match for the 3 years of declining money, but at the fourth year, you have to fully fund the project out of your local money. So it is non-continuing. That we questioned the sheriff, and he advised us that he could operate this program and have these officers so that he could, I think he was going to put them in Homeland Park and where else, Sheriff?
Down the Pendleton area.
Pendleton area, right. Pendleton area and Homeland Park, and that he could handle this matching money out of his current millage with no increase in taxes to the citizens of Anderson County. The Finance Committee recommends that for approval.
All right. No second is required. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Let the record show the vote is unanimous.
The fourth item is heating, ventilation, and air conditioning for the sheriff's office. You'll notice pages 1 of 3, there were full bids for this replacement, emergency replacement of a heating, ventilation, and air conditioning unit for the sheriff's office that he needs ASAP. And so it was awarded, well, not awarded, the low bidder was Ed Horton. Finance Committee does recommend this for approval.
All right. It's in the form of a motion. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by raising your right hand. The record show the vote is unanimous.
And now,
Mr. Crowder, yeah, on these transfers, I noticed I don't know, I may have to ask Mr. Pitts on this, but is it sufficient? They're recommending, I think, all of these. Is that correct? Or except for a couple of them that have been tabled. Does he need to read each one of these just to get it into the record, or can we just say, since everybody's got copies of it, that they're all recommended by the Finance Committee except for
I would think you'd be okay just to crave reference to what's in the agenda packets, but it wouldn't, to be on the safe side, I don't see any harm in just reading them out,
Just read them out?
just real quick,
Okay.
no details required.
All right.
I'll go. All right, if you take a look, there are a multiplicity of items in here, and the Finance Committee did recommend all of them to be forwarded to the full committee, except the two items that are on page 2 of 17. And so I will be reading the ones that the Finance Committee will be approving. It's a transfer off the first four from the sheriff's, moving money, $165,000 to pay for additional fuel, and really it's to cover the increased fuel cost. If you take a look at what fuel cost, it's increased in the last several months 6%, and it's anticipated to go up. And we actually took a look at the sheriff's what I call spend rate for the last 4 or 5 months, and it was estimated that he would need $165,000. And we didn't leave it open that he might need even more than that, because we capped out that gas would not go to above $4, and obviously if it went $4 or more, we would entertain a request back from the sheriff at a future time for additional money. The sheriff needs $10,000 additional for insurance. The reason at the first of a budget year, the sheriff does not have, or anybody who pays insurance, especially on vehicles, we do not know what the premium is, because the premium is paid every April. And so you don't know the next year's premium until you pay that premium. So he needs an additional $10,000. He needs $80,000 to be able to repair some vehicles. The sheriff needs $9,000 for additional office supplies, paper, toner, cartridge, and ink. Over in the detention center, they need to be able to do some repairs to it in the amount of $4,000 for air conditioning unit. The sheriff needs also to move some professional fees in the amount of, from safety to professional fees, $1,600 to cover estimated costs of the vet expenses for abused and malnourished horses that were seized in Belton and now under the care of the county. The forensic lab needs to, and if you take a look, the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items have to do with the exact same thing. They need to upgrade of the new version of instrument controlling software to keep pace with scientific protocols and mandates of courts for reporting of weights. And in order to garner enough money to be able to make this upgrade, he's having to move money out of 5 different pots, I call it. $1,500, $1,000, $2,500, $4,000, and $128. So the Finance Committee recommends that. The next item is for the 3 items are for the forensic lab. Forensic lab. And they all have to do with increased maintenance costs tied to petrochemical industry for scientific instrumentation. They've had some changes in that. And in order to qualify, he actually needed $2,235, and in order to get that, he had to move $1,000, $1,000, and $235 to make up the $2,235. We did recommend that. We'll skip over the next 2 items for right now and go to the FEMA. There was a capital purchase moving to monies to program expenditures, and this is for the PCIS grant to purchase speaker microphones and batteries. You'll recall that we approved some radios, and now they need some microphones and batteries for 100 units, and that cost $10,381. Finance Committee did recommend that. E911 needed to move money from the Bell South fees for 911 over to computer maintenance in the amount of $14,500 to cover remaining needs for the Motorola contract. Now, keep in mind, we have multiple Motorola contracts, so this is not the Motorola contract that we always debate about. This is maintenance on a particular set of hardware that will, beginning July 1st, that contract will now go away, because I understand our technical support people will be able to maintain that equipment without having to be dependent upon a contract with Motorola. The next item is where we, well, the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items actually all have to do with the need for administration to be able to fund more printing. There seems to be a spurt of printing needs for all kinds of events coming into the area, publications, brochures, handouts. And so in order to garner enough money to carry them through the end of the fiscal year so they won't be coming back in multiple times, they are actually moving $350 out of one, $1,100 out of another, $500 out of one, $400 out of one, $1,000 out of one, $4,150 out of another one, to meet the needs and uses of the Public Information Office. Finance Committee reviewed that and approved it. So those are our recommendations for our first vote.
In the form of a motion.
Yes, sir.
All right. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by raising your right hand. The record show the vote is unanimous. And of that, there will be 2 items that you tabled, and further information will be gathered on a later date. Thank you. All right.
That is the committee's report, Chairman.
All right. Thank you, sir. All right, moving on to item number 12, report from the Planning and Public Works Committee. Ms. Floyd.
Thank you. I'd like to report, Planning and Public Works Committee had their monthly meeting. It was a really good meeting. We missed one of our inputters, that's what I call him, Holt Hopkins, because Holt kind of gives us ideas and knowledge about what we're trying to do here. But nevertheless, Derek Singleton did an excellent job. What we are doing right now, we're going through the plans, I think it's a 10-year plan, or I'm sorry, the capital plans for ideas and things that we said that we wanted. We're trying to understand each one of these things. So it was Derek Singleton's time to do it. He did an excellent job. He explained the systems to us so well that, in fact, we are going to take a trip with him on the, excuse me, I think it's the 10th of April to see these things for ourselves. Also, we heard from, who else was it, Mr.
Excuse me. We heard from the planning department, from the grant folks, and also the airport manager. Give us a report on the work being done at the airport and what has been completed at the airport, and their upcoming goals and future needs, and what they're putting in far as clearing out there and getting the site distance for the FFA and the airports thing, and the Powdersville sign thing we've already voted on. And then we discussed, as we all know, the grant thing last council meeting, and we brought it back up at the planning meeting, and we voted to move it forward to full council to act on the grant.
The Brownfield grant. As you can remember, the last council meeting, there was some concerns that the grant was going to be left out. The one we did last year was going to be left out. And we discussed that. And Mr. Dunn, at the last meeting, suggested that we bring it back up this time. And Mr. Dunn?
It's coming from our committee. We voted on it, so it doesn't need a second. So it's on the
All
floor.
right, so it's made a form of a motion, and is there any discussion on the brownfields grants? If not, all those in favor of pursuing that grant signify by raising your right hand. The record show the vote is unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms.
The funniest thing that happened in our meeting, the best thing that happened in our meeting is our two fellow members didn't show up. The meeting started at 5 o'clock. So we realized that we didn't have everybody we needed, so we were just going to go on home and forget it. And 5:30, somebody finally heard the racket at the door. They've been out there. How long were y'all out there?
About 10 minutes. We got mixed up on our time.
And they were knocking and screaming at the door, but we finally let them in. We had a really good meeting, and that is our report.
All right, thank you, ma'am, and I will see that they are severely reprimanded for that, being remiss at the meeting.
I want to know where they were.
Maybe you don't want to know. Mr.
Chairman.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
On the transfer list, one that was approved by the Finance Committee was not brought up. It was for the GPS. Mr. Holt Hopkins can explain.
Okay, did we miss one?
To allow Mr. Holt Hopkins to bring forward a request to purchase 3 GPSs because they had quotes from other counties that wanted to go into a joint bid arrangement so they could get a better price, and the Finance Committee recommended those. So, Mr. Hopkins, will you tell us whatever you need to tell us?
Well, I'd just like to clarify that the State Emergency Management Department actually pooled or worked out a special deal for multiple counties and the state as well to buy these units. During a disaster, they'll actually be able to quickly download assessment information, damage information, whatever that FEMA requires, and just by simply plugging it into a computer and emailing it off, they can generate the reports within minutes and under an hour and get it straight to the FEMA folks, so we can get a quicker declaration. When there's no disaster, we'll be able to use it on a day-to-day basis during our road inventory, sign inventory. We'll be able to inventory our sewer lines, manholes, that kind of stuff using this, and it's kind of a one-step. You punch it in and then plug it into your computer, and all the data's there.
All right. Is there any other discussion? That's in the form of a motion?
Yes.
To accept those?
Finance Committee does recommend a purchase of those 3 items.
Okay. And they will be kept at Roads and Bridges?
Roads and Bridges, keep it, and then in the disaster, we'll hand it off to the public safety folks.
Okay, I was wondering where they came in. Okay, good. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by raising your right hand on the GPS purchase. Let the record show the vote was unanimous. Mr. Crowder, did you?
May I make a comment?
Yeah.
Somehow or another, we need to close that loophole. This is about the second time we've had that to happen, where items are asked to be added to the agenda almost while we're in the meeting. And I think one of the pitfalls is the fact that the stenographer who transcribes the material, Finance Committee stuff is a lower priority, so Linda and them don't see that that's there. So we need to work out some kind of mechanism where we can be assured. So if somebody brings in a last-minute request to the Finance Committee, could we make it their responsibility to get that material to Linda, to have it on the agenda? Mr. Burns?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Rita, please. Thank you.
Right.
I'm not trying to put y'all on the spot. It's equally my fault, too. I take the blame. I just need your help. I'll assume all the blame.
All right, thank you, Mr. Crowder. All right, moving on to item 13, appointments.
Chairman.
Yes.
If I'm not out of order, on the report from the Finance Committee, there was a request on personnel issues, executive session.
Right. Yeah, that was mentioned.
That we don't have, so we need to go into executive session.
Yes, sir.
Do I have a motion that we go into executive session about personnel issues?
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make the motion that we go into executive session to receive information regarding personnel.
I will second that then and go into executive session. Is that the way we have to? Okay, it's all those in favor, wait, we got to vote. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. The vote is unanimous.
We do have a volunteer chaplaincy program. Do you really? Yeah. That's why I never wrote that. Have enough? Oh, and I heard from them.